Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Sridhar Reddy, Assistant Professor of Physics from Government Degree College for Women, Nalgonda. Welcome to Sri Quantum Academy. Today our topic is Introduction to Electrostatics. It is also called static electricity. Static electricity is a branch of physics which deals with the properties of charges which are at rest. In this chapter, we will learn the properties of charges which kept rest. There is no motion. In this chapter, we learn what is charge, how many types, what are the properties of charges, what is electric field intensity, electric flux, electric lines of force, and Gauss theorem in electrostatics and its applications, electric potential and how to find electric potential. All these things we will learn in this chapter. Today I am going to discuss about what is electric charge and how many types of charges are there, what are their properties, and finally Coulomb's inverse square law. Every material is made up of atoms. Each atom contains heavy nucleus surrounded by electrons. Nucleus contains positively charged protons and neutrons which doesn't have any charge. Protons and neutrons are massive particles. So atom contains protons, neutrons and electrons. Total mass of the atom is attributed to the mass of protons and neutrons. Proton mass is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg and neutron mass is 1.67 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg. The mass of proton and neutron are almost equal, nearly. Proton is positively charged particle and its charge is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. It is positive charge. And neutron is neutrally charged. That means it doesn't have any charge. This nucleus is surrounded by electrons which are revolving in their specific orbits. Electron is negatively charged particle and its mass is very less when compared with the proton and neutron. The mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg. Electron is negatively charged particle and its charge is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. In generally, when a material is observed externally, it looks like neutral. That means you cannot observe any charges on the surface. This is because inside the materials, positive and negative charges are equally distributed. But by some process externally we can produce charges on the surfaces of the materials. Very simple. When two materials rubbed each other, charges are produced on the surfaces of materials. This was first observed by Greek philosopher Thales. Thales observed this phenomenon with umber and wool. But after that, Gilbert discovered that there are many other such type of materials which produce the charges by rubbing, like glass, ebonite, sulfur, cat fur, etc. etc. There are many materials. If you see here, there is a glass rod and another silk cloth. Now what I am doing, just I am rubbing glass rod with silk cloth. You can observe glass rod is accumulated with positive charge and silk cloth accumulated with negative charge. The body which exhibit this property of accumulating charges on the surfaces are said to be electrified or they are charged. The phenomenon of producing these charges or the cause due to which this body becomes electrified is called electricity. Their observations also showed that when two such glass rods, after rubbing, two such glass rods or two silk cloths repel each other when they try to bring together. They try to bring close to each other, but what they observed is two glass rods are moving away from each other. And also same thing, they observed that when two silk cloths tried to bring close to each other, they observed they are moving away from each other. This experiment shows that two glass rods or two silk cloths moving away from each other means like charges repel each other. They also observed that when a glass rod and silk cloth bring together, they observed there is an attraction between them. They observed that they attracted each other. They are moving close to each other. So, from this experiment, it is very clear that like poles repel each other and unlike poles attract each other. And also they observed when glass rod, silk cloth rubbed each other, glass rod accumulated with positive charge and silk acquires negative charge. But when ebonite rubbed with cat skin, ebonite is charged with negative. So sometimes same material, sometimes it can accumulate with positive charge and sometimes it acquires negative charge. But in what case it acquires positive charge? In what case it acquires negative charge? That purely depends on the materials which we are using for rubbing. See here, this is the series. First cat skin, flannel, sealing wax, glass, cotton, paper, silk, resin, umber, sulfur, ebonite. This is the series of materials in which first one or higher material accumulate with positive charge and lower one acquires negative charge. Very simple example, when cat skin rubbed with glass, now cat skin is first and glass is second. So cat skin acquires positive charge and glass acquires negative charge. But same case when glass is rubbed with umber, when glass is rubbed with umber, now glass is first one and umber is lower one. So now glass acquires positive charge and umber acquires negative charge. In this way, this is the series in which higher order material acquires positive charge and lower order material acquires negative charge. The charges are produced on the materials because of the friction generated by rubbing. Next one, properties of charges. Charge is a scalar quantity that doesn't have any direction, it has only magnitude. There are two types of charges are there, positive charges and negative charges. Similar charges repel each other and opposite charges attract each other. That means positive positive and negative negative repel each other and positive negative attract each other. Next one is charge is always quantized. That means the charge produced on the surfaces of materials is always integral multiples of charge of electron. Electron charge is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Now see here, glass rod and silk cloth, when they rubbed each other, glass rod acquires positive charge, silk cloth acquires negative charge. Now how much charge accumulated on the glass rod is equal to plus Ne. That means it is positive charge, but it is always integral multiples of charge of electron. So it may be plus E or it may be plus 2E or it may be plus 3E. That means the charge acquired on the body is always integral multiples of charge of electron. So one body acquires plus Na, automatically another body acquires minus Na charge. Next, conservation of charge. One more important property of the charges is conservation of charge. Charge is always conserved. Total electric charge of isolated system is always constant. You neither create charge, you nor destroy the charge. But what happening? Rearrangement of charges taking place when they rubbed each other. One body acquires plus Ne charge and another body acquires minus Ne charge, so that total resultant charge is minus Ne plus E becomes 0. That means you neither created nor destroyed the charge. Next one, Coulomb inverse square law. Till now what we understood, like charges repel each other, unlike charges attract each other. Now how to find the magnitude of the force of attraction or repulsion, how strong they repel or how strong they attract each other can be calculated with the help of Coulomb's inverse square law. According to Coulomb's inverse square law, the force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is directly proportional to the product of their charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The direction of the force is along the line joining two charges. See here once again, according to Coulomb's inverse square law, the force is directly proportional to product of charges, inversely proportional to square of the distance between them, and direction is along the line joining. Now see here, there are two charges Q1 and Q2. They are separated by a distance r. According to Coulomb's law, F proportional to product of charges, that means F proportional to Q1 Q2, and F proportional to 1 by r square, that means inversely proportional to square of the distance, F proportional to 1 by r square. If I combine these two equations, F proportional to Q1 Q2 by r square, if I remove proportionality, I have to put a constant, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Now my formula, F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r square. Here proportionality constant 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Newton meter square for Coulomb square. Here what is epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is permittivity of free space. Epsilon naught is permittivity of free space. The value of epsilon naught is 8.85 into 10 to the power of minus 12 Coulomb square for Newton meter square. Here free space means there is no medium, nothing is there, there is no matter, empty space. This is the formula which you have to use to calculate the force when two charges are kept in vacuum. That means there is no medium surrounded by the charges. Here permittivity is a property of medium that measures how medium is favored to the charges. Next one, Coulomb's law in medium. Coulomb's law in medium. Let us suppose two charges kept in a medium of permittivity epsilon, then my Coulomb's force F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by r square. Instead of epsilon naught, I have to write epsilon. What is epsilon? Permittivity of medium. If the dielectric constant of medium is K, then K is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. Since force is a vector, the vector form of Coulomb's law is F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r square into r cap. R cap is unit vector. It is directional vector. It indicates the direction of the force. Always the force of attraction or repulsion acts along the line joining these two charges. Next, differences between the Coulomb's inverse square law and Newton gravitational law. According to Coulomb's law, the force of attraction or repulsion proportional to the product of charges. But according to Newton's law, force proportional to the product of masses. According to Coulomb's law, force inversely proportional to square of the distance. Similarly, in Newton's law, inversely proportional to square of the distance. Formula F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. Here F is equal to g m1 m2 by r square. Coulomb force may be attractive or repulsive, depends on the charges. If plus plus is there, then it is repulsive. Plus minus is there, then it is attractive. But Newton gravitational force always attractive.
Coulomb's law is based on the experimental observations, whereas Newton gravitational law is based on the speculative observations. Thank you very much.